Okay guys, so once we reach the end of our main phase 2, we can then go into the end phase. And this just tidies up anything that's left at the end of our turn. So if there are any effects that state specifically that they activate during the end phase, that's the point you activate them. Once you've completed your end phase, your turn is over and you hand over control to your opponent. A couple of quick sort of clarifications. If you are the player who goes first, you don't conduct your draw phase. You're also not allowed to conduct a battle phase in that first turn. So although you get the opportunity to set your board before your opponent does, there are also downsides to going first, and your opponent will be the first person who gets a chance to properly attack. With pendulums, although if it's tributed or it is destroyed by battle, it goes to the top of the extra deck. If you have a card that specifically states that it sends it to the graveyard, for example, Foolish Burial, send one monster from your deck to the graveyard, that has to be where that pendulum monster will go. A flip summon is where you've got a card in face down defense position and it was put in face down defense position the previous turn. You can then change its battle position. So you can either flip it to face up defense position or you can flip it to face up attack position. And if it is a flip effect monster, at that point, its effect will activate. So in this case, I've got Subterra Behemoth Ultramathus. You can target one monster your opponent controls and banish it. So when it's flipped, I can target a monster my opponent controls and I can banish that monster. It states on that card that that is a once per turn effect, and that's once per turn per face-up card. So if I've got two Subterra Behemoth Eumastrix, I can flip one up, banish one of my opponent's monsters. Flip the second one up, banish another one of my opponent's monsters. If my opponent activates a card and I want to negate that effect, I can use Subterra Fiendis. Subterra Fiendis states that during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard, target one Subterra monster you control, negate the activation, and then change the targeted monster to face down defense position. So I can send Subterra Fiendis to the graveyard, target Eumastrix, and flip it back to face down, and then my opponent's effect is negated. I could then, now it's been flipped to face down, it resets that card. So I could turn Subterra Final Battle, which allows me to change one set Subterra monster on the field to face up attack defense position, flip it up again, and banish another monster. Because once a monster goes face down, everything about it is negated. Talking of negating, if my opponent declares an attack and I do something along the lines of turning needle ceiling, when there are 4 or more monsters in the field, destroy or face up monsters. Even though that monster's attack or effect has been declared, and even though it's face up, it is destroyed, but that doesn't necessarily stop the attack or the effect. So the attack or effect will still go off if that monster has simply been destroyed. It's not unless a card specifically states that it negates an attack or an effect that that attack or effect is negated. So I'd say that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed these videos. I hope you found them fairly useful. And I'm going to be continuing to make sort of more Yu-Gi-Oh! Based videos. My next project is to construct a good working new deck from scratch. So yeah, join me on those videos, guys, and I'll see you soon.